I've played Star Citizen for just over a year now, and it's safe to say it's been a roller coaster of emotions. From servers that are so balked many people won't be able to even boot up the game, to it running smoothly and no issues arising for some time, which makes you feel a bit gaslit. Pretty soon after booting up and exploring the game world, I found myself falling in love with the game. The sense of scale this game offers is unbelievable, and you really feel it when you fly down to a planet or moon, watch the fire encapsulate your ship before you land and look around the landscape. Being able to do a multitude of professions such as piracy, trading, mining, FPS combat, ship combat, and in-game events that promote PvP, PvE, PvPvE. There are even game modes called Arena Commando and Star Marine, both of which will be combined in 3.20. These modes offer a more direct way to play. If you want to do focus ship combat and FPS combat in multiplayer or single player context without the risk of playing in the persistent universe, which is the main portion of the game, while being quicker to access. The community for Star Citizen is honestly one of the best I've experienced in my 20 plus years of gaming. If someone asks for help in chat, they get it. The same with things like player ship tours, crew for higher paying missions, and even just having a conversation about random stuff. The potential for armor-like operations is a viable one. And even though we don't have all the features we need to make this happen yet, it can be done in a skeleton crew type context, which is just laying the foundations for bigger operations in the future. The dev team is split up in different studios around the world, with each studio seeming to have a focus on specific gameplay aspects. The dev team have been pretty transparent since I started playing. I've heard stories from before I made an account, but there's something I can't comment on as I simply don't know enough. With weekly videos, live streams, roadmap updates and lore posts, players are drip-fed information about the game's development, which in my opinion is the most important thing when it comes to in-development games, on the player side that is. Being able to know how the game is being made is obviously excellent, as it makes the player feel like they're part of the development. This is cemented with the Evocati program, which, if you didn't know, is an invite-only collection of players who bug test the game and are under a non-disclosure agreement so to avoid leaks. Kinda. As I stated previously, servers can be unplayable at times, usually when a big update is pushed out that changes the way the game works in the back end. Prime example was the release of 3.18. Many people were unable to boot up their game. Many also experienced little to no issues when playing the game. But diverting from that slightly, there are a lot of bugs in this game, but that's to be expected when the game is in alpha. But what I find amusing about the bug situation is that everyone seems to experience different bugs and it's not consistent either. One day will be fine, others will be balked. But again, the game's in alpha and it's to be expected. Now, you've probably heard there are a lot of ships and vehicles in game. If I remember correctly, it's at nearly 200. From snub fighters to giant multi-crew focused ships, every person playing the game can play how they want, within reason. I've seen videos of people putting a tank on the front of a space yacht, effectively turning it into a makeshift gunship. But if you ask me, light fighters are what I prefer to fly. I'm not a big on the ground guy. Unless we get jetpacks, because I see myself as a budget Dinjarin. But speaking of ships and vehicles, oh boy can they get expensive. While the smaller ships tend to be more reasonably priced, the big multi-crew ships are expensive, and I mean really expensive. But this is obviously intended to help fund the game, and to dissuade many of the solo players from buying a capital ship that will never be crewed. The main ships are designed to be used by many people, so to me the cost is justified. I mean, CIG themselves even put a ship on sale for $10 million for one of the biggest ships in game that you can't even genuinely buy. I see where people's frustration comes from. I've been frustrated at the game myself, but in the grand scheme of things, my frustration has been dwarfed by the love I have for this game. I fell in love with the game so hard I changed the entire direction of my channel and I wouldn't even look back. CIG sometimes makes poor decisions, or at least decisions that are made with many different aspects considered. They're not just a game company, but they're a business. And many people don't have a lot of business knowledge, so their frustration comes from a place of partial ignorance. Now, I'm not saying the frustration isn't justified, because it is, but I think many people should try to look at the bigger picture to help ease their frustrations. There are many games in development that have been worked on for far longer than Star Citizen, but I believe the major difference is the fact that we can play this game now. CIG are working on 2 games at once, Squadron 42 and the Persistent Universe, which is obviously slowing down development. But considering that, and they've changed the game engine twice now, I'm impressed they've managed to get the game in the state it is now. Modern games are very complicated and we're seeing dev time increase as Moore's Law does its thing. Additionally, I believe they should stop announcing new ships and focus on the ones in development. Moreover, I think they should stop adding things to the vision for now. In my opinion, finishing up the core elements of the game like gameplay loops and get a few star systems in, then push it to beta, then full release, and add the rest as updates. It would be a great way for them to regain some of the lost confidence within much of the player base. But would I recommend this game? Well, yes, but I wouldn't recommend people spend real money on ships unless they want to retain certain ships over wipes and want to help put food on people's tables. I mean, I've done this. I would just go into the game expecting to have some issues to mitigate frustration. Star Citizen is a fantastic game that really shines when it's working smoothly. You won't find another game with so much level of detail and a vision that's higher than the Empire State Building, but I just want to leave you with this. Star Citizen, when complete, will likely be the only game I play due to its ridiculous amount of potential gameplay.